Alright, what's good YouTube, it's Jay here. This is going to be a little bit of a more informal video. Normally I do things a little bit with more effort and I'm in a sleeveless t-shirt right now. But we've got the patch notes for every single weapon buff and nerf. And this list is colossal. So this video is not going to be heavily edited for the most part. We're just going to kind of talk about what got buffed, what got nerfed, so you guys have a comprehensive kind of guide to everything. So let's get started. This is for the Season 1 Reloaded update, which drops today at 12 p.m. Eastern and is currently 11:38 a.m. We've got everything from Modern Warfare 3 first, then Warzone. So the SVA got a buff, increasing its damage range. The Holger, which kind of did turn into a piece of trash after a while, it got buffed. It got an increased sprint to fire time. The DG56 got a nerf. The FR, which is the FAMAS or the 3 burst FAMAS, that actually got a buff, increasing its damage range. The DG56 is interesting because you get one burst from some pretty crazy ranges, but decreasing its maximum damage range from 35 meters to 20, that's a 43% nerf. Wow, that's colossal. Okay, that's a huge nerf. Next, we get the MCW. Now, I was expecting this to get nerfed because it is one of the meta weapons. It shoots completely straight, no recoil, nothing. We got a lot of changes. So this is to the main long barrel that everybody uses. The damage range got nerfed. The bullet velocity benefit got nerfed or decreased. Its sprint to fire time penalty got nerfed, or it got an increase to its sprint to fire time. Decreased hip fire spread, decreased tactical sense penalty spread penalty. Yeah, they're nerfing the hell out of this thing right now. Even its overall sprint to fire time got decreased or increased. The heavy stock, they really nerfed this gun. Recoil control, or the gun kick control benefit, got decreased by 11%. They decreased its horizontal recoil control benefit by 5%. They decreased the vertical recoil control benefit by 5%. They've increased the sprint to fire or sprint speed penalty by 3%. They increased the tactical sprint speed penalty by 3%, and they increased the sprint to fire speed penalty by 1%. And then they buffed the Jack Raven kit because that kit's actually terrible. So they increased the arm damage by from 1 times to 1.1 times or 10%. They increased the hand damage multiplier by 10%. I know I said that. I know I kind of flubbed that a little bit, but yeah, they nerfed this thing. They nerfed the heavy, like the meta attachments basically, which is kind of crazy. I knew they were going to do that eventually, but this is more comprehensive than I thought they would. But again, it's not Infinity War. Infinity War, when they nerf things, they'll just say they decrease, but not give actual percentages or real numbers, which is absurd. I can't believe we had to deal with that last year. But that's it for the MW3 assault rifles. Nothing else got changed to these weapons. Yeah, so I wonder how, with the Holger getting a little buff, I wonder how this is going to work with the burst fire attachment, or if they even changed that. I doubt they did, but it doesn't look like they did. So on to the MW2 weapons. So the SCB got a colossal buff in its maximum damage range by plus 100%. From 15 meters to 30, so the STB is actually going to be gas. I'm going to use that in the video. The near medium damage range got buffed from 29 meters to 39 meters. They increased the medium damage range from 47 to 54. This thing just got a colossal buff overall. The Cast-Off 7.62, it got a lot of damage increases. Not one of my favorite guns personally, but it is basically just the AK. I hate these names. The AK got a buff. The Chimera got a near medium damage buff from 28 to 29, so a little 4% buff. And then the Tempest Razorback, they increased the damage range from 28 to 29, the maximum damage range from 12.7 meters to 22.9 meters, so it's an 80% buff. They increased the lower torso damage multiplier from 1 to 1.1, so a 10% buff. All the MW2 weapons are getting crazy buffs. Now, we've seen in the past with Call of Duties, especially in Warzone, whenever the new COD drops, all the previous COD's weapons get completely nerfed. And I know this isn't the exact same scenario, but these guns are coming from an old game to a new game. So it's just, it's crazy that they're buffing these like this. The FR Advancer got a maximum damage range increase from 25 to 29, so a 60% buff. And then they decreased the maximum damage range from 34.9 meters to 24.8 meters. So they buffed it and nerfed it. Like increasing maximum damage. Oh, maximum damage. I'm an idiot. I read that as maximum damage range. So yeah, these things got overall damage buffs with a little nerf to the damage range for this gun in particular. But that's crazy. They nerfed the M16. Was the M16 broken? Really? Okay, so they decreased the upper torso damage multiplier, decreased the arm damage multiplier, hand damage multiplier, sprint to fire time, decreased sprint to fire time from 210 milliseconds to 189 milliseconds. So this is a buff. Decreased aim down sight time from 290 milliseconds to 240. So this is a buff. But these three nerfs are kind of crazy. I didn't even know the gun was worthy of getting nerfed. Is it even good? Oh, okay. Well, the more you know. Then we've got the cast-off 7 or the AK-74U. They increased the minimum damage from 19 to 22. They increased the near minimum damage from 22.9 meters to 30.5 meters. So that's a 33% buff. And then they increased the medium damage range from 36.8 meters to 47 meters. So a 28% buff, just buffs all around, man. And the other AK, it got a damage increase from 32 to 34, so 6%. They decreased the maximum damage range, and they decreased the ADS speed, aim down sight time rather. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of mind blown at the number of MW2 weapon changes. This is really, really nice. So on to the battle rifles. Sidewinder still sucks. The Lockman 7.62 increased maximum damage from 44 to 52. So I'm going to assume that's in single fire. And then for the full auto type, they decreased the upper torso damage multiplier, so they nerfed the damage a little bit on the torso, the lower torso. They increased the arm damage multiplier, and they increased the hand damage multiplier by 20% on both. The Chrono Skull got a damage buff by 3% from 31 to 32. And then the FTAC Recon, which is still one of my least favorite guns of all time, they increased the lower torso damage multiplier from 1 to 1.3, so 30%. So it got a buff right there. ADS speed has been reduced because if you don't know this, all the MW2 weapons, especially with their attachments, if you look at the stats in game right now, prior to this update, since we have the detailed stats like system now, we're able to see how much of a difference like the attachments like affected guns in MW2. We couldn't see that before because we didn't have the detailed stats menu. But it was bad. Infinity Ward arguably made the worst attachment system of all time because of how badly these attachments nerfed these guns. The ADS speeds, the recoil control, the damage. Like their attachments were so bad for almost every gun across the board. Ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff on Twitter you can find about this that go in a little bit more detail about it. Maybe we'll do some kind of reaction to it or something one day. But the full auto type, full auto fire type for the FTAC Recon got a buff all around. 11% increase to torso damage, 18% increase to arm damage multiplier, 18% increase to hand, leg, and foot damage multipliers. So the gun just does not suck anymore. Maybe we'll try it out. Then we get the SO14. They increased the damage from 41 to 46. The SO14 is kind of gas in MW2. I like this gun. They decreased the neck damage multiplier, nice. They decreased the upper torso damage multiplier, nice. And then they basically increased literally everything else, including a 36% increase to damage multipliers for the leg and foot. So they basically just streamlined it because all of these are the exact same now for these four categories. The WSP Swarm, we're going into SMGs now. It got an increase in damage range. 4.6 meters to 6.6 meters, so 50%. Mind you, this is for multiplayer, not Warzone. Increased near damage range from 7.9 meters to 11.7 meters, so 48% increase in just damage range and near medium damage range. So range buffs all around for the WSP Swarm, even though this thing was kind of cracked in my opinion in multiplayer. And then the Rival 9, they decreased horizontal recoil slightly. So they got a buff right there. And then with the MTZ Marauder stock, they decreased the firing aim stability benefit by 5%. So a little nerf and a little buff. They didn't give any numbers here though, which is kind of funny. The Striker 9 got a damage increase from 27 to 29. I thought this thing shot pebbles, so I'm okay with that. No other changes to any MW3 SMGs. Now on to MW2, the Lockman Shroud. got a lot of nerfs. What in the world? Was this thing good? They increased the maximum damage range, or maximum damage, I'm sorry, from 30 to 38. So it got a huge buff in its damage by 27%. They increased the near medium damage from 28 to 32. So that's a 14% damage. And then they nerfed the maximum damage range, the maximum, or the headshot damage multiplier, the neck damage multiplier, upper torso damage multiplier, arm damage multiplier, and hand damage multiplier. So they kind of streamlined everything, it looks like, for the most part. 50%, they nerfed all these by 15% across the board, basically. The ISO 9mm incompatible underbarrel attachments can no longer be equipped. I didn't even know you could do that. The Vector, I'm never calling it the Fennec, it's the Vector. They increased the damage range from 10.7 to 12.7 meters by 19%. They've increased foot and leg damage multipliers by 10%. They've decreased the ADS speed. They've decreased the sprint to fire speed. Cool. Okay. So the BAS P, not B, P. They decreased maximum damage range from 18.8 meters to 16.3. I didn't even know it was good. But then they buffed the leg and foot damage multipliers. The Lockman sub, which is the MP5, got an increase to near medium damage from 28 to 29, so 4%. And then they increased lower torso damage multipliers by 10%. So maybe we'll make a bunch of different videos on MW2 weapons in MW3. I think some people would probably like to see that kind of content. Let me know in the comments down below, please. I would love to make more videos on these older guns. Shotguns. Oh wait, the MX9, I'm sorry. They increased the upper leg damage multiplier and foot damage multipliers, and then they decreased the ADS speed and decreased the sprint to fire speed. So everything kind of got a massive buff. Also, I think, did I just skip over something? I read this and then I read this, and they're basically the same thing almost. So wow, I'm faded. I wasn't paying attention. Lockwood 680 shotguns. Okay, they've increased the sprint to fire for the Lockwood 680 to 200 milliseconds. So that's a nerf. The sawed-off mod stock decreased movements benefit by 2%, decreased sprint to fire over time benefit by 5%, decreased ADS speed benefit by 3%, decreased recoil control penalties by 10%. So this is a buff. Decreased hipfire spread benefits by 6%. Wait, no, this is a nerf. No, wait, they decreased recoil control penalties by 10%. That's a buff. For the Lockwood 300, they decreased the minimum range of the slug rounds by 24%. And then the Maelstrom dual trigger, which has been broken so many times, got a colossal nerf. They decreased the maximum damage range from 3 meters to 2.3, which is 25%. And they decreased near medium damage from 6.4 to 5.3. No overall nerf to the damage itself, just the damage range. I don't know how you calculate that in the game. And then the Expedite 12, they increased medium damage range from 10.4 to 12.4 by 20%. That's a nerf or a buff. They decreased pellet spread while aiming down sights by 20%. They just buffed the Expedite 12. Wow, okay. The Bryson 800, I don't really even know what the difference is between these two. And it's funny, these are all in MW2. We got 800 and 890. They decreased the sprint to fire time from 182 milliseconds to 145 milliseconds. So 20%. Did I say ADS or sprint to fire? I don't know. Sprint to fire. They decreased the ADS speed from 350 milliseconds to 300. So these are buffs for the MW2 shotguns. They increased the rate of fire of the Bryson 890 by 9%. Okay. Okay, so we're buffing shotguns again. Whatever, it doesn't matter. LMGs, the Holger got a minimum damage increase by 60%. The DG58 got a decrease in sprint to fire time by 21% and a decrease in its ADS speed by 14%. So these are buffs, just to clarify. I know I said that a little weird, but these are buffs. Bruin MK9, incompatible underbarrel attachments can no longer be equipped. I honestly was hoping they would increase the damage of it a tiny bit because the Bruin's kind of a pebble shooter in multiplayer. And then the second MG38 from MW2 got an increase to lower torso damage by 15% and decreased ADS speed or ADS aim down sight time by 5%. So they buffed it. The HCR56, which is the STB, if I'm not mistaken. So the HCR56, which is the LMG version of the STB, it got a buff basically. They reduced sprint to fire team and they reduced the ADS speed. Nice. Okay, on to marksman rifles. We've got a long list of things. So we're gonna kind of just fly through these. The DM56 got a buff. The MTZ Interceptor got nerfed. The EBR14 got buffed. A Lockwood MK2 got buffed. Okay, so it's got an even faster ADS speed now. Tempest Torrent got buffed. The crossbow actually got buffed. They increased the minimum damage from 100 to 125. Did it not one-shot people? I'm gonna assume with the increased health, it probably didn't one-shot people. But they buffed every single thing. And this was with the Bright Blaze 20 bolts. These the fire rounds? I don't know. They buffed everything. The LMS got buffed. I don't even remember using this gun. I couldn't tell you what gun that even is. The Cat AMR got a decrease in bullet velocity and range for the Zang 34 barrel. Interesting. The the KV inhibitor, they added medium damage at 129 to 61 meters. What is this supposed to be 12? Oh, well, they nerfed it though. They nerfed it across the board, it looks like. So everything got nerfed on this gun. Victus XMR got buffed, and the Carrack 300 got buffed. Increased recoil center speed by 100. So when you shoot the gun and it bounces back, I'm going to assume that's what they mean by recoil center control or whatever. And then the Renetti's, the Jack Ferocity Carbine Kit. View will no longer be obstructed while aiming out sights with certain optic attachments equipped. Nice. The tier, here we go. This is a buff. This is a buff. It decreased near medium damage range from 15 to 11.4 meters. So is that a buff? Increase upper torso damage multiplier. That's a buff. Decrease lower, decrease arm, hand. Those are all nerfs. Decrease trigger action delay by 40%. That's actually really, really good because the trigger delay on this thing sucked. They decreased the trigger action delay on all of them. So it shoots a lot faster now. It should be a lot more responsive. Hopefully, because it was not fun to use. You pull the trigger and nothing happens. That wasn't fun at all. Incompatible Krios hollow optic attachment can no longer be equipped. And then the 9mm Damon got buffed, and then nerfed. Okay, the Stormender. I saw this. The Stormender might be broken now. It affects drill charges, airdrops, inflatable decoys for some reason, and then swarms. I don't know if it's able to take out the entire swarm. That would be just absurd. That would make zero sense. But I'm gonna assume it can shoot down a lot of the drones, probably. That I don't like that one, actually. I feel like with how high of a kill streak the swarm is, to just be able to pop some, to be able to use an unlimited ammunition secondary and just spam it, that's just, I don't like that. I don't like that change at all. And then attachments. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this right here. This is a lot. This is a lot. But it looks like a lot of different lasers, like the ones that benefit your ADS speeds and stuff. Wow, they actually nerfed the ADS speed lasers. That's kind of lame. Increase the aim down sight speed benefit by 2% and 4% on the sprint to fire speed for the FSS Oli V laser, which is probably one of the most used laser sights in the entire game. That's kind of unfortunate. Some things got buffed, some things got nerfed. Yeah. Now, the big one, Warzone. Warzone has been plagued with a bunch of broken weapons, and it looks like everything in their grandmother got some kind of change here. Let's talk about it. The Holger 556 got buffed. The M13B got nerfed. I actually didn't really think it was that crazy, to be honest. They buffed the ACR in pretty much every category, but the Cyclone barrel did get nerfed again, basically like how it did in multiplayer. So all of the same attachments got nerfed in Warzone as they did in multiplayer, basically. And that's it for the AR changes. The MTZ battle rifle, so we're in the battle rifle categories now. That's MTZ. Is that the Interceptor? That's the Interceptor, right? Or am I faded? Wait. Is that the only nerf for the... Okay. The maximum damage reduced to 42 down from 35. Near mid damage reduced to 38 down from 42. And minimum damage reduced to 34 down from 37. That's it for the Interceptor changes. It doesn't sound on paper like that's a crazy nerf. We're gonna have to wait and see, kind of play with the game a little bit to determine if that actually makes a difference. We'll see. The Bruin Mark 9 got nerfed. Max damage reduced to 28 down from 32. I thought this thing shot pebbles too, like in Warzone. I don't know if we need to nerf the Bruin. Min damage reduced to 26. All the LMGs got nerfed. This is what this is basically saying. The Tac Eradicator, my favorite gun in the entire game, its max damage reduced to 28 down from 33. This thing is so fun to use. It shoots so straight. Gotta be my favorite gun in the game. Like, this gun is generally the definition of no recoil. If you have issues controlling the recoil in the Tac Eradicator, you are generally just terrible at the game. Next, we got the SMG changes. The AMR got a buff across the board. The AMR 9 is now usable. The ISO 9mm got nerfed. I've never seen anybody literally kill me with this other than the Swarm. Wait. The Swarm isn't on here. The Swarm is not on here. Okay, wow, we're not nerfing the Swarm at all. Interesting. Okay, maybe we will read the attachment changes for Warzone. The Rival 9 got nerfed and the Striker 9 got buffed. It's kind of funny for the Rival 9. That was never a standout weapon to me. The Cat AMR got nerfed, and then that's it for the sniper rifle changes. The ammunition, the 50 cal Spire point rounds, I literally don't know what any of these are aside from the Dragon's Breath. This got buffed though, whatever these are. Dragon's Breath got nerfed. Thank God. Like the fire shotguns have made a comeback in force. They are just obnoxious now. Then the lasers all got, well, okay, so this one got buffed, this one got nerfed, this one got nerfed, and this one got buffed. Okay. And then for muzzle attachments, the XRK Nightfall suppressor, it basically got nerfed. The bullet velocity, damage range, recoil benefit, ADS penalty. Well, so these first three are pure nerfs. All three of these are nerfs. This is a buff. This is a nerf. No, these are all nerfs. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, these are all nerfs across the board. Okay. And then, I mean, then we've got changes for zombies, but that one I feel like is a little bit harder to kind of discuss because at the end of the day, you're not shooting at other players. But we do have more information on Season 1 Reloaded, which is kind of nice. I guess we could briefly go over that, but I'm shocked they didn't nerf the Swarm. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. You know what, guys? I think we're gonna make a separate video kind of going over the entirety of the Season 1 Reloaded update. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel for gaming content. If you enjoyed this, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Peace. Okay, I lied, by the way. This is totally not the end of all the changes to multiplayer. We actually might just have to talk about this all in one colossal video, and that's okay. Added immunity to EMP effects from the Storm Ender for the Tac Mask perk. The Bone Conductor headset reduces player combat and environmental sounds. They basically just changed the description. Signal Jammer, they addressed an issue that prevented proper functionality while equipped with the Engineer Vest. They buffed the Thermal Barrack Grenade by 200%. The explosive damage got a 200% buff. Wow. This next one though is why I had to throw the recording back on. I started scrolling, I'm like, wait, there are way more multiplayer changes. Not only is the competitive scene going to do a complete 180, we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about, but wow, the trophy system for the last 2 years has blocked cruise missiles, which has made basically that kill streak extremely useless in ranked play, in the CDL, and in pubs. It no longer does that. That is such a huge change, it's not even funny now. Wow. I'm surprised by this one because we were asking last year for them to change this, and they never did because it was Infinity Ward. We've got a tournament next week. And this, between the MCW changes, this and the Rival 9, this is crazy. This is crazy. The ACS got an issue that prevented objectives from being captured in hardcore game modes. The suppression mine, visual effects are no longer activated for the player who deployed the mine. And then we got a bunch of other changes to kill streaks. We're actually getting kill streak changes in this update, which is why I like Sledgehammer, because they actually give a shit. they actually care. You know, the SAM turret got a decrease in its lock-on delay from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, so that's kind of a buff. They increased the cooldown between missiles, so that's a nerf, and they adjusted the number of missiles required to destroy multiple kill streaks. VTOLs, 4 missiles up from 3. Gunships, 5 missiles up from 3. A SAM turret shooting down a gunship with 5 missiles is kind of crazy still. Chopper gunner, 4 missiles up from 3. But I'll still take it being buffed to 5 missiles, or nerf from 5 missiles, or 5 missiles from 3, because that's crazy. 3 missiles to take down a gunship. And the advanced UAV just won't be targeted anymore. Now for the remote turret down while attempting to control the turret will no longer prevent the player from controlling it upon subsequent attempts. The Overwatch Helo, 100 XP and 75 score are now awarded upon destruction. Cool. The EMP announcer voice line will now play upon enemy usage. That's right, because there was no announcer for the EMP. Destroyed equipment and kill streaks will no longer grant kill streak progress. And then for the swarm, announcer voice line will now play upon enemy usage. That's right, there was never an actual announcer for this. You just heard the gunship flying in, and a bunch of drones started flying out. It was kind of terrifying actually. And then we've got some rank play stuff coming up. So lots of stuff is banned, basically. Just to clarify, 80% of the game is banned for rank play because a lot of the stuff in the game is extremely uncompetitive. Do with that information as you will. We've got changes to maps and rotations and gameplay and everything. Like, there's so much now. All right, so Gaia, or Groot as we call her, is back. Groot is back. They've adjusted the appearance and the geometry. Then corrected inaccurate pros and cons display for several attachments. This for the gunsmith. There's a lot of information here, to be perfectly honest, man. Third person spectating is no longer allowed in the following modes: control, cutthroat, search, destroy, and war. Inspecting dual wield melee weapons will no longer cause one arm to remain still. Address an exploit that allows weapons to be fired faster than intended while set to the semi-auto fire type. Audio, teammates would no longer play enemy sound effects upon sliding and landing from a fall. So that's why audio sound is so absurdly weird, because you hear your teammates, and apparently it was being treated as enemy audio. Improved footstep audio for walking across puddles. Resolved issues with audio during the infiltration sequence of multiple maps. Enemies remote turret wheels and chopper gunner kill streaks will now disable nearby spawn points. Whoa, that's huge, because people were just spawn trap you in multiplayer, specifically shipment. That's a colossal change. You can't not just abuse these anymore in shipment. For progression changes, you know, you can read these. Maps, kitchen control capture point can no longer be contested for the main room. Derail added addressed exploits that allow players to access unintended locations. And then high rise, garbage bins in the elevators are no longer open and obstruct the line of sight. What a change. Wow. What? They didn't have to do that. That's an incredible change. Players in the activates tunnel will no longer take damage from explosives on the surface. Nice. Railings in the helipad staircase can now be mounted by players. Okay. Reworked hardpoint capture location sizes and associated spawn points. All of the hardpoints got changed. Wow, except for Skid Row. Wow. Okay. You can no longer just get to unintended locations either. This is crazy. This is gonna be brutal, the competitive scene. Wow. We got a major in a week. Qualifiers coming up this weekend. Wow. Okay, now we're really at the end of the video, guys. I knew I had to talk about these parts. This shit's crazy.